Welcome to Marketing Matters with Art of Strategy.
Welcome back to Marketing Matters with Art of Strategy. Today, I'm in here with Tina Winslow and Brooke Dieterlin, our Director of Client Services. Guys, how you doing today?
Good. Happy to be here.
Always a pleasure to have y'all on. Today, we're going to be talking about just some hypotheticals on implementing marketing strategies for our clients. We want to get Brooke. We want to get some perspective from you as the client services. What perspectives do you bring in, and how their perspectives we can be prepared for them with our marketing strategies development.
Yeah, it's that's a good question. How we as an agency deal with ever-changing marketing and techniques and technology and things that arise, and we're able to pivot with our customers and with potential clients and let them know that we can put a strategy in play. And if we feel like they need to shift that strategy at all, we just pivot and we start implementing as a team and make sure that it fits with the strategy that we've put forward. So,
and I think that they can come to us. I think it comes in two ways. One is that we see technology shifting and we are trying to pivot before the technology shifts so that they are bridging that gap.
Right.
And then the second way I think that we do it is when they come to us and say, I have a new idea and I want to try to implement it. And that gets, our attention as well, because we have to make sure that it's thoughtfully done. When you have an idea, there's a lot of thought that goes into, is it going to impact your current strategy? Is it going to add new strategy, or are we going to have new work to do in terms of that? And we want to make sure that that work is covered and represented in our plan.
Right.
And so we don't want to have the part going where it's like, pivot and then plan. We want to make sure that we look at it from a very 10,000-foot view all the way down to the, strategy level and then into the actual work.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about us being able to do that, taking new technology or new techniques and implementing those marketing efforts for our clients, we have such good relationships with each of our clients. And so we're able to communicate with them what we're doing, how long it should take, what their expectations should be, which a lot of companies don't do. They, at the end of a month, will show them some kind of analytics saying this is how many leads or people were touched by marketing efforts that you put forth. What we're able to do is monitor it daily. And I think that is important. I know you and I got into a really deep conversation, meaningful conversation about marketing.
Yeah.
And, the one thing that we were discussing is TikTok, because TikTok's hot. And, people are wanting to utilize what's hot right now. But from our discussion, out came from it is, are they entertaining?
Yeah.
Is because that's the purpose, is people want to be entertained on Instagram. And so, what is the purpose? I know people want to be on the different channels that are hot, but they forget that there needs to be a plan, a method, a call to action, or something that draws them back to their business.
Yeah. Brand development is not just a logo. It is it is having a person who is the face, especially if you're using social medias or social media is the new commercial. This is, you have to have a face that people are familiarized with. And if you don't have that, then you're, from a business perspective, I don't think TikTok is going to work for you. And, when you're dealing with small local businesses, do you have the man hours and the capability to dedicate a person to being the face of your brand. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you are the face of your brand, but you're also the everything else.
Yeah.
You know? do you have time to get on
You're
to
taking
do
the
this
trash
stuff?
out and the
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, one of the things that we're doing at Art of Strategy, which is pretty exciting to us, is we're going to roll out a client portal.
Right.
And in that client portal, we're going to include dashboards and activity that we're doing so that you can, as a client, be able to look in the back end and
Actively see what's going on.
actively see what's going on, and then have the ability to reach out if you have a new idea and let us know about it, or if there's something that you want to change or you want to get looked at. That can all happen with a client portal that we're going to put in for our clients.
Right. And that's good because it kind of eliminates the the time spent of having to like explain it. You know, you go through a process once of going like, you know, here's what this data means. Obviously, that's what we're here for, to show, you know, collect this data and implement that in a strategy. But, you know, maybe you don't realize what this data even means. You know, I didn't know what bounce rate, as we were talking about the other day, is kind of going away as a data system. But, you know, I didn't know what that meant. And maybe a business owner doesn't really understand what that means. We break that down, and then they can actively say, okay, these things are, you know, this is what's happening. Maybe I have some ideas as the business owner of what we can do.
Yes.
And then they can add into the conversation.
Absolutely. And I think that is the team mentality that we bring to the table.
Right.
Because and we even put it in our proposals, when we deal with clients, you get a very active team that is assigned to you. It's not just me. It's not just Brooke. It's not just you. There's an active team that is assigned to it, and those people are actively working on your account.
Yeah.
And it would be beneficial, I think, for our clients to see that and to know what's happening behind the scenes, so that they have an active, you know, participation in their own campaigns.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure as a business owner that can be kind of overwhelming to know that, you know, again, as an entrepreneur, like, oh, this stuff is in somebody else's hands right now, and I'm getting a little fidgety. I'd like to see what's going on.
Right.
Well, and that's the part that we also bring to the table as a fractional marketing department for clients. We have some clients that we're just working on a specific project, and we have others that we are their fractional marketing department, so that you can have a marketing team be represented with your other chief executives that you need. So if you need to have a meeting with your CFO, your marketing, and your CEO, we can represent that and be present to help drive direction
Right.
at a higher level. And I think that's important.
Well, it is, because having, you know, developing a strategy and having a clear vision is all about how, you know, we can get the job done the most effectively.
It's even in the title.
Yeah, it is. Oh my gosh.
Art of Strategy.
Art of Strategy.
That's really interesting. So implementing new ideas. Have you guys heard from new clients or, you know, potential clients any like really unique ideas from for a marketing perspective lately?
Obviously, Instagram Reels and TikTok are really popular right now, which I think you brought up a great point, Daniel, is that you can't just throw it out there to throw it out there. There has to be thought out action behind it, because if it goes viral, what do you do? If no one sees it, what do you do?
Right.
You have to kind of build into it that there is going to be an ongoing plan so that you can manage it.
Right.
And we had a client recently that we made some recommendations to expand his locations. And we wanted to see how that, because we did it very strategically on the page. We didn't just like, hey, here's some locations. We put it out there, and then we put a heat map on it, and we watched the activity to make sure that there were no rage clicks, there were no, people going off into the ether because they didn't know where they're at.
Right.
We were able to see the path all the way through and note that strategy is working. So I think that there are some tools on the back end, analytics, and heat maps, and analytics is changing now.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about that yesterday, that Google Analytics is upgrading to Google Analytics 4.
Which was like, what happened to 2 and 3? But, whatever.
Yeah. Where's 2 and 3? It basically takes... It's not a one-to-one switch. So it takes, again, some thoughtful planning about what you really want to track on your site.
Right.
That Google Analytics, UA, the older one, did not. It just gave you data, and you had to kind of interpret it and add your own. You only had 20 unique events that you could add in terms of conversions, and with Google 4 you get 30, and so.
And it's giving you so much more data points, from what I understand. I'm not completely educated on the system yet, because a majority of what we use is using UA, but it's coming, guys. So anyone out there who's still using UA analytics, be ready, because July of this year, I do believe, Google is off with its head. It's going straight to G4.
There's no more data that's going to come from UA.
Yeah.
So if you got used to looking at your bounce rate, it's now engagement. And what does that mean? And how do you interpret that engagement? And it's not, again, a one-to-one smooth transition. You have to plan it. And so definitely, if you are on G4 and you want to move to, or if you're on UA and you want to move to G4, let us know and we can help transition.
Yes. Yeah. And now is the time, because these are all about data collection. And obviously we can keep, you want to keep your old information. We keep your UA going until it's just obsolete and it's not going to be working anymore.
In July.
But that allows time for data to be collected. And that way, once that switch is made, you can actually get into it.
And one of the things that I saw on G4 was that you can actually go in there and have it give you 14 months of data versus the 2 months it does.
Right.
So you need to click that off and basically say, I want 14 months of data.
Right.
So definitely do that if you are switching on your own. If you don't know what we're talking about, that's okay. We can help you.
Yeah, please contact us if you don't know, and write that check, baby. Well, so Brooke, as the director of client services, when you hear about people switching, and these things take time, is it hard to explain to somebody who's like, I'm giving you money, why can't I have an answer now?
Yes.
Like, does that come up often?
It does. Our clients don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And they just expect that since they've paid you, there will be results.
Right.
And, with marketing and branding, it takes a while. It takes concerted effort, and it takes a while to establish yourselves and have purpose in the strategy and what that is, and if it shifts, being able to shift with it.
Right.
But there's clients come to us all the time, and they say, well, how come I'm not getting, business through the door or whatever? And they don't understand that when we're talking about whether it's SEO or our social media and blogging and all that serves a different purpose.
Right.
And so to help them understand the expectations for each of the marketing services that we're implementing for them to achieve their ultimate goals.
And it kind of goes like this. If you have pay-per-click, it's immediate. Like when you turn on pay-per-click, you have to do a lot of things around it.
Yeah.
You want to set it up in a very, strategic way. But the minute you turn it on, you're going to get people.
You're going to get instant.
You're going to get instant. Then you have social, which is about awareness. You have to add in calls to action. You have to do some other things, but it does take time to get the awareness. Then there is SEO, which is pretty much a 9-month process.
Yeah.
So it's very much like turning a very large boat. You're never going to just turn right on a dime. You're going to always course correct. And the way you have to course correct is to get your analytics and to look at patterns and to say, okay, these keywords converted. We need to do more like this, less of this. And these keywords are not working for us, or there's not enough volume. We need to change direction. So when a client comes in setting expectations about time, it is very crucial.
No, I understand that for sure. And yeah, it just that's one of the things I picked up on, is that these things do take time. And with any marketing agency, it's not just with Art of Strategy. This is, we have to have time to collect this data so we can present to you something. Now we can go and compare your competitors and get you some sort of competitive data that says, these are metrics, these are things that we can implement. Hopefully that will help you, but there still is a half-life for this plan to come to fruition.
Yep.
And that's the beauty and the curse of it, because you get to watch this thing grow and come to where it needs to be. But a lot of people don't understand that it's a little bit more of an arduous process than they'd like to admit.
Right.
It's not impossible. It just takes knowledge, and it takes strategy. It takes working together. As you said, that's one of the things that makes us unique. We are a team, and not just us, but us and the client. We're working with them. We want them to succeed, because if they don't succeed, we're not succeeding either.
Yes, their goals are our goals.
And exactly.
In terms of growth, we have a lot of clients that we've taken from mom and pop shop status to larger companies. We have one in particular that now has 2 instances of a website plus, an e-course going, and it's, it's growth that we walked through with them, and we're really happy about that.
Right. Well, here's an interesting question I have written down. It kind of goes with that, because they're implementing these new things. So, what are some of the risks that you risk taking when you're implementing a new marketing strategy? Obviously, there's losing the funds, but that's a risk you take on any new business venture. But are there any new risks in particular that you guys have noticed with following a new strategy?
Well, I'm going to say it depends, which is really a bad answer. But for instance, if you are on Google pay-per-click, Google is really good at increasing your budget to the point that you're like, I'm spending all this money. And if you don't have an idea of what's working and what's not working, and you just go in and kind of say, I'm going to throw $1,500 at this budget,
right?
That $1,500 will be gone very quickly.
Very quickly.
And you don't know what worked and what didn't work. And so I think not having a partner as you navigate some new steps is the trick. I mean, I think that you need to kind of have someone that's been through it, that has the experience and can say, ooh, danger, Will Robinson, danger, this is not going to work. In terms of social media, I've seen a lot of people just throw social media at social media, and your messages don't have calls to action.
Right.
So if you're going for awareness, great, but awareness does not usually translate into immediately work in the door or clients in the door.
Yeah.
It has to be about in combination with other things. So I think that I've seen a lot of people just like, oh, I'm on social media all the time. And I'm like, but are you asking for what you want the client to do? Are you directing it? Are you tracking how many people responded? Are you growing your community? There are just some risks with social media.
Right.
Search engine optimization, and I'm just covering these 3 topics today. I don't know why, but again, it's a time thing, and you can put in a lot of effort and not see the results right away and think that it's not working. And that is a that is a mistake. It is
Yeah.
working. Well, it should be working. And it just takes Google a little time to look at it and see,
Right.
it's relevant. And
Well, and all of those things, they work together. You can totally use PPC. We don't disencourage PPC. It is just the fact of it's paid per click. Do you have the money to support that? That's and that is there's no offense to any clients. It's, you just have to have a budget. And like you said, Google will push it to the limit. They will Kenny Loggins it, like,
yes, they will.
and they will get
To the
that
danger
wallet.
zone.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen accounts where I've gone in and they were like, well, Google suggested I spend 500 more. And I was like, but what's working? And
Yeah.
they were like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Right.
So it definitely is in Google's favor to get you to spend more money.
For sure.
And if you're not watching it, you could suddenly be spending a lot of money and not
yeah.
getting the results that you wanted.
And the same with social media. The social media campaigns, they do basically the same thing. Not pay per click, but yeah, they say, give us some money, we'll make sure more eyes see your products, see your videos, which is a great thing. But again, do you have the money to support that? If not, then you actually need to have a strategy and develop.
Right.
Yes, to actually fall back on. And that's sort of the layered approach that we take with most of our clients.
Right.
Is that if your main goal is lead generation, then we're going to direct you down a certain path.
Right.
If your main goal is awareness and people learning about your product or your service, that's a whole different ball game. And each one of those has to be tied to a result. So we do have some tools that are great for awareness, but I usually start with a disclaimer to clients. It's display advertising. That's a form of pay-per-click that can be used with Google and in geofencing. Geofencing is a really powerful tool for its ability to target very, very specifically people.
Right.
And that's great, but it's display advertising, which
Right.
means unless you put in your ad, which they don't allow you to have writing on your ad, you have to put it in the words. What is your call to action? And if you
Right.
don't have one, then you're just basically throwing it out into the internet and hoping.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the double-edged sword of, especially when you have a small business in your brand. Maybe you do a realty, and it's like, I'm not selling a product. I don't have anything to maybe you do painting houses. There's nothing tangible I can say. Here's this, yeah, you have to have that call to action. Come on down and Joe's house painting, and
Call us, fill out a form.
Yeah.
Whatever that call to action is, so that it can be tracked. And we had it the other day. We had a friend that was basically going to go sponsor an event.
Right.
And we just were like, hey, you got to have a unique tracking on that, because if not, you're going to not know how effective your ad was.
Yeah, you have no idea.
You'll have no idea. And so, we were able to help him out there. But
Right.
I think that there's some trolls underneath the bridge that
Yeah.
you need to look for.
For sure.
And we're always available to talk about it and suggest things even to people. We want you to be our client, but we're not going to be like, run away.
Yeah, well, we want everybody to succeed, and if you'd like to succeed with us, that that offer always stands. But we want to advise and make sure everybody's moving as they should, and to the best of their ability, because growth is positive for everybody, especially in this industry.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, do you have anything else that you would like to cover? Anything that you'd like to say?
No, I do want to clarify one point, that when we talked about PPC, pay-per-click, the clients do, they always want immediate results.
Right.
They always want immediate results. And so you have to educate them on, your budget.
Right.
Versus competitors or larger companies' budgets.
Or keyword budgets.
Yes.
Yes.
And it can get high very quick.
Oh, yeah.
So, I want to educate them that we also take a look at that. We know it's expensive, and we
Yeah.
know that you're competing against dollar for dollar.
Right.
So, if you can't compete wholly in that space, we are able to pull a strategy in play together
Exactly right.
to supplement that and still achieve results, but not have to spend a buku of bucks.
Right.
So that's another thing that we have to identify to all of our new potential clients and current clients too, because they all want to get in that business. They want those quick results, but they don't understand that they're going to be paying for it, and it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah. Well, and it takes education, and that's that's the beauty of what you do. You come in there and you say, this is what that means. This is how it's just like you said. If you don't have the money, then we have to have a strategy. And I hate to sound so cut and dry if that belittles any of it, but it's David and Goliath.
Right.
You're dealing with these big people that have a lot of money, but they don't have a strategy. They're just coming in.
Right.
There is no.
They're just throwing money at a problem.
Yeah.
And when you throw money at a problem, you don't always get your money back.
Yeah. Right.
And so we want to do it in a very thoughtful, strategic way that gets you the results that at the end of the day you're happy with.
Yeah, for sure. Well, ladies, I do appreciate you guys coming out. It's always fantastic to speak. Brooke, hopefully you'll come on again sometime.
Thank
Cover some
you.
more cover some more topics. Yeah. So, guys, thank you for listening to Marketing Matters with Art of Strategy. Have a good one.